Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Jahaniman, your own channel. And today is Tuesday, your favorite day, the day for the book lovers. And in the studio, we have Miss Natasha Advani with us, who is a renowned author and who is going to help you buy her book, that how to cope up with the challenges of life and how to strive and enjoy your life to the fullest of your abilities. So let me welcome Miss Natasha. Hi, Natasha. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. And Natasha, when I was reading your book, really, I was so impressed. And at certain places, you have mentioned so many beautiful quotes, and those quotes are just very close to my heart. But before going into the details of your book, I would like to know more about you and about your childhood, about your struggle in life, and about everything, especially the incidents of your mother's loss, because I also lost my mother long ago. So I can,
Okay.
yes, I can share the pain here at this stage. Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. Thank you so much for giving me, Hajma, this wonderful platform to speak about my life and about the book. So why I got into this line? Many people say why the energy field. There are so many various careers and all to take. But I why I started this is because at a very young age, at 7, I lost my mom of cancer. So I always had that void in my heart. And I had the most amazing father, but for a young girl to lose her mother is not easy. So to cope with the loss, of course, I grew up, time went on, life went on, I became a working woman, but the void always remained in my heart. So, so in my 20s, I remember I did the first course, on meditation, and that shifted a lot in my life. For the first time, I felt so much bliss and so much serenity from within my life because I have noticed all of us have a lot of emotional baggage in our life, and if we don't clear those emotional baggages and move, we will not be able to move forward. Or if you have that kind of emotional pain in the body and you get married or you do a career, you are not going to be prosperous in that, because it's very important to emotionally clear yourself as you move forward. You must have heard of emotional quotient and intellectual quotient. Nowadays, everyone's IQ is very high because you are in big jobs, careers. That is very important. But people commit suicide. Why? Because their emotional quotient is low. They cannot cope with the challenges, losses, or whatever they are facing in life. So this emotional quotient is equally very important. So that's the reason I realized that I've done a lot of international training from various trainers all over the world, and I have seen a lot of shifts in my life happening because I'm in this training and healing field. So it really helped me a lot, and that's how I could cope. And I'm actually an intuitive energy alchemist. I help people with the struggling reality they are going through and make them manifest the reality they would like to what do you say, lead a greater life. Because you notice sometimes people take action 15 hours a day, they work 20 hours a day, but they do not see changes in their life. Why? Because they are not shifting the energy which is really required. As Napoleon Hill says, you are what you think you become. Whether you can or whether you can't, either way you're right. This is one of the quotes in my book. And a mind is a very, very powerful thing. So it's very important to focus your thoughts. And again, what is thoughts? Thoughts indirectly is energy. So, these things are important. So, I work more on those aspects, and I've won various awards over the years. My show was currently seen on TV channel. My article on stress had come in the Asian Age newspaper. I've been seen in Bombay Times, Hindustan Times. I have given workshops to big fortune companies like Piramal, Indian Oil, Tata, and even chartered accountancy firms. So these things are very, very important. I've noticed when I give lectures, to many companies, it's very important to be centered and stable from within, because everything might look good from the outside, but what is happening inside is very important. As I believe, your internal world is a reflection of your external world. And no one, I've noticed, no one wants to look within, because sometimes there's so much turmoil going on in people's life, they don't want to look within. So that's why I help people on these various factors, and then they see a lot of shifts in their life.
Thank you very much, Natasha. It's really very inspiring to know your story. And
Thank
there
you.
was a time when you were thinking that to get rid from the grief and from the loss of your mom's demise, you wanted to marry, and you thought that this is the only way when you are going to get relief in your life or maybe some pleasure. Then how you realize that that is not the only way? There are some other more impressive or more effective ways.
Yeah, because as a young woman, I guess all of us want to, get married at a certain age. But as I said, if like many people have this misconception, they are unhappy now, especially girls. Your Prince Charming will come and he will sweep you off the feet. But in reality, it's very different. There's no Prince Charming. No one is going to sweep you off the feet. Reality is very different. So, till as a woman, you don't feel happy from inside, you don't feel centered and happy from within, no one else can make you happy. So I felt that maybe I didn't like meet the right kind of people in marriage, and I didn't feel that anyone could contribute to me. So I started working first on my emotional stability, and when I started doing these meditations, automatically things started shifting for me, and I started feeling very happy and centered from within. And of course, I had the most awesome father who never forced me to get married, as I know a lot of women are forced to get married whether they like it or not. So I have total gratitude that I was given a choice that you want to, you don't want to, it's totally up to you. So so I realized that I needed to first work on myself, and I tell a lot of women that I have workshops especially for women empowerment, and a lot of workshops on women where I tell women that first be happy and centered from within, and then look outside. Because imagine, there's something known as pain body. All of us have emotional pain body inside us. And when if you get married and your pain body is very, very high, you might just have a fight with your husband and he must have given you just 10% of the pain, or how we have arguments in relationships. But if your pain body is so much, 100%, your pain will be 110%. That's why I say emotional baggages are very, very important, and that's what lead to divorces. You see, the divorce rates were so high during COVID time. There was so much domestic violence because obviously people are not mentally fit or mentally stable, or they are having so much of turmoil inside them, so they don't know what to do. And a lot of people try to escape it, by partying or seeing a good movie, or by having alcohol. I'm not saying don't do that, but that's not going to take away the trauma in your life. I work on a lot of deep rooted issues. So when you work on those aspects, that's when you will start seeing shifts in your life. These are all temporary reliefs. You notice you're sad, you see a good movie, and after the movie finishes, what happens? You're
Again,
back
you
to
are
your
sad.
sadness.
That is just temporary pleasure you get out of that. So who inspired you for this wonderful book, From Mess to Mesmerized? First of all, the title itself is so catchy. When you say that
Yeah,
from mess to mesmerized, I always remember that the entire house is in mess, and similarly your whole personality is in mess.
yeah.
Different thoughts are coming and going, and you are unable to manage yourself, this do and that to be done, that not to be done. So who has inspired you for such a wonderful book?
Yeah, it's just that I was writing this book a few years back, but then I lost my father, so my life was messed up again because I had brought up by a single parent and I'd seen few losses of loved ones. So I determined, and especially during COVID, everyone's life was messed up. There was mental depression, loneliness, domestic violence. So I said, since I can't go outside and really give my seminar, so I started giving a lot of online workshops to people, and I wrote this book not for myself. I wrote it for contribution to the society, how these techniques can help people to transform any area of their life, because everyone is looking for something. See, no one's life is perfect. Some part, any area of their life, some life part is messed up, or it not necessarily messed up. There can be a scope of improvement if someone's relationships are not working, or finances. So these are very basic techniques that can help you, to overcome their life. And why mesmerized, I say, because my brother always calls me a superwoman, because he can't believe the amount of work I do. Till our parents are there, we are in our comfort zone. No? Once our parents are not there, we have to push ourselves to doing things which we've never done before. So a lot of my friends and family members say we are mesmerized by how much you do. So that's why it's called From Mess to Mesmerized.
Beautiful, beautiful. You have
Yeah.
written somewhere Albert Einstein's quote you have quoted. The value of man should be seen in what he gives and not what he is able to receive. So, is Natasha a firm believer of this quote that for you, giving is
Yes.
more important than receiving?
Yes. I'm very, because a lot of people, even Brian Tracy, successful people, are not say what is in it for them. They are always givers, and I believe the more you give, the more you contribute to the society, the universe will give you back in some way. Don't give, with the intention of receiving, because that's again a selfish intention. Oh, I'll give this present, or I'll say this to someone and I'll get something in return. But if you really truly give from the heart, without expecting anything in return, you will see lot of changes in your life, and universe will help you in ways which I can't even explain in words. So learn to give without any, with the intention of receiving. That's the reason I've written this book, and I've kept it at such a nominal price that even a Starbucks coffee is more expensive than my book.
Okay, we'll come back to that question, that from
Yeah.
where they can get it and how much they have to invest in this, how much
Yeah.
time and money, both is important. You
Yes.
know, one
Yes.
thing, one
Totally.
thing also has drawn my attention in your book, that everyone may not be good, but uh, never judge anyone shortly, because that every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. I
Yes.
really like this thought, that every sinner has a future, because in future he may be a pious person. So how did you get this wonderful thought?
Yeah, because I've noticed, that you must, like, a lot of people notice that sometimes you have a fight with your friend, or you're not in good terms, and you felt that friend was not good or very selfish. But after 10 years, you notice that that person has changed so much. So we are changing every day of our life. And what if sometimes it's just a bad thought or incident. Suppose when someone is very angry, they might just shout for that moment. That doesn't mean the person is bad. So, and your past is your past. Everyone makes mistakes. And so there's a saying, that the person can be a robber in the past, then later you can become a saint, or the saint can become a robber. So you never know, just because the person is saint now, that doesn't mean it's a robber later on. That even Gautam Buddha, that person who was used to cut the fingers of a person, he was considered of killing people, and he became a Buddha later on. So he was such a big sinner, but still he became, these are one of my quotes, that pain is inevitable but suffering is optional. So there are people, sometimes the suffering is so much that they automatically, in spite of doing things that are not helping him, so
Yes.
they become a saint after that. Or some people, they feel they are doing saint, and some incident might tick them off, and they become on the other side of life. So you don't know what the person is going through, so never judge anyone, because even you are not the same person you were 10 years back, right?
Yes.
Not you, I mean whoever is on the like, even I'm not the same person I was 10 years back or 20 years back, because all of us are changing. Incidences our life are changing. You
Yes.
are changing as a person. You're becoming, like, we become more matured, more wisdom as we start growing elder. We look at life at a broader perspective, so you never know what can happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
So
and
you
this must
mentioned
have
about
happened,
Buddha. That had, yes, that has reminded me of one of the saying of Muhammad, peace be upon him. He said that the person will be judged on the basis of his end, like how was he when he passed away from this world, and not
so
what he
true.
was in the beginning. So it means that anybody can change towards the end. So we have to see that how he was at the end. That is the
Yeah,
final destination that should be considered.
that's
Now,
very
one
true.
more thing is there, that no relationship is perfect. That's very true. And no relationship is sunshine, but two people can share an umbrella to survive the storm. Such a beautiful
Yeah,
quote. Yeah.
yeah, because because see, no all relationships and ups and downs. Tomorrow there's no relationship which is perfect. You have to work on it every day. We have relationship with our parents, relationship with our friends. It's always a give and take. But you have to learn to adjust and compromise and contribute in such a way so that we both are under the same umbrella. You notice so many people, we say, oh, what a wonderful couple they are, but but they have worked on it every day of your life. So if we together, why same umbrella is because if both take the equal amount of effort, to make the other person happy and let go of all the past, whatever past your partner is telling you, I'm sure relationships work out. And even if relationships don't work out, it's fine. We shouldn't, say that person is bad. Sometimes, people change, compatibility issues are there. So, but you try your best, give your 100% and make it work. And if it doesn't also, it's fine. There's no hard and fast rule, it has to work, but at least you gave it your 100%. That's what I'm trying to say.
So that's
Like in case like
that's very true. In your book, I
if
found
someone like in the case like of domestic violence and all, or no, a woman should not at all take that. That I would say a big no, because there's a certain amount of respect a woman should have, when she's having. So that's when sometimes relationships don't work out. But a little fight here and there, that's okay. You can always work things out.
and that's what that makes your book different from other books, because I have read many motivational books or many life skills book or life guiding books, but I have not seen them focusing so much onto relationships, although our relationships plays vital role in our personality or in our stay on this earth. Everything depends on our relationship, how we are with our friends, with our families, with our relatives, with all other people. But the people, they hardly address to those, especially the domestic relationships. But you have focused more onto relationships, so that once we are happy at home, then only we are happier outside. That is a formula that is very much prevailing from your book. So thank you very much for writing such a wonderful book, and I congratulate you. And
Thank you so much.
I recommend that everyone, whosoever is watching this program, must read this book. It's going to guide them in their life, especially in their relationships, in their loneliness, in their isolation, and in their challenges. So thank you very much, Natasha, for being with us.